Good evening. Thank you for joining me on the NWP call this evening. Today we are discussing accessible capital strategy. This is structured growth and it's total control of you for your capital. Before we begin, a brief note on the structure. When it comes to transparency, that's what NWP is all about. NWP doesn't hold your funds. That remains with the brokers at all times, and you have the choice and the control over your capital. It's never locked away for longer than a week, and that's because it's in trade. And on a Saturday and a Sunday, you decide if you want your capital or if you want to keep it there in trade, but you'll always get your profits, and we'll discuss that during the presentation this evening. My goal is very simple, and that's to help you maximize your capital growth, grow your money, but still having complete control, which is very unique in this industry. Normally, they want you to lock away your capital for a long time so that they can work with it. In NWP, it's very different. It's from a week to week, and you always have access to your capital because life happens, and you always need your money when you need it. It's not up to them or anyone. It's your money. You decide when you want to spend it and what you want to do with it. Now, the whole framework of the NWP business is what we call a 52 times compound frequency. You know, when you think about money and you think about savings and all that sort of thing, typically, they'll talk to you about what you're going to get on a yearly basis. So when you see some advert and they tell you you're going to make some percentage, they always talk in years, how much you're going to make in a year. And sometimes they'll give you options for if you lock your money away for 5 years or something like that. That's completely different here. Here, every 7 days, NWP settles your account and sends you the profits. So they're not just moving faster, they're moving more often. There's 3 different ways and 3 different tiers to which you can enter the NWP system, and starting with a foundation portfolio. What happens here is you can start with as little as $10 up to $9,999. That's going to give you a monthly projected income of 5%. This is not paid to you on a monthly basis. It's paid to you weekly. So you'll get a little bit of that 5% or more on a weekly basis. The whole objective here is to start your growth and to start your capital growing. The historic momentum, and what we call about this is historic momentum, is when your money will double. So in the foundation portfolio, typically, when we look at the historical results, your money will double every 18 months in the foundation portfolio. As we move up to the next portfolio, this is $10,000 and more, up to $49,999. Here, the target is 8% per month. Again, the profits are paid to you on a weekly basis. And this is all about wealth acceleration. Here, because of the target that the traders are looking for, your growth is much more aggressive, and typically, if we look at the history of the results, your capital will double every 8.5 months in this foundation or in this growth portfolio. Then moving up to the elite portfolio, this is the top tier. This is $50,000 or more. This is maximum compounding, maximum everything. This is complete dominance of your money, where your historical double on this one is 6.5 months. So every 6.5 months, your money is doubling, which gives you such incredible options and gives you growth like you've never seen, typically in the marketplace. Now, everything works on trading, and that trading is operated by brokers and traders spread all across the globe. So there's no one single jurisdiction where there could be a problem. If there's a war in a country, for instance, and everyone's situated in that country where there's a war, there's going to be a problem. With the NWP system, it's spread across many different countries. There's no single broker or trader in the same country as the other one, so your risk is minimized. And then the trading that they do is done on the Forex and the commodities market, the commodities being gold, oil, and silver. And then on a weekly basis, because they're only trading with your money weekly, they keep the risk very low because they need to ensure that your capital is available for you on the weekend. So typically they'll use about 20% of your capital to get the weekly profits. When we look at risk, and this is often a question, what is the biggest risk for you and your money? It's the loss of control. And that means that if your money is locked away and you could have put it in an investment, it's going to be there for a whole year and you have no access to your funds. Should something happen, or if you see a fantastic opportunity, you'll miss that opportunity. And that's what we mean by your locked assets are at risk. In NWP, there's no friction because there's no subscriptions, there's no contracts. It's just personal, professional performance for you and your money. And it's available for you all the time. That's the difference. If we look at the historical results, and now we're looking at last week, Saturday, this is the result that you would have seen in your back office. We will get our next results on Saturday coming, and that's the 75th. We are now in the 75th week of trading. So what you've seen on the screen is this week 74 results. And you'll see in your back office, they show you a profit there. What that profit is the full transparency. It's what the total business made for the different portfolios. So if you had a foundation portfolio last week, you would have earned 1.37%. That's half of the profit made. And that's what you earn as a person with a portfolio. And then the rest, the other 50% goes to the business volume. That sustains the affiliate plan, the partnership program, and the business. In NWP, and what makes it so different from everything else is every Saturday you get to decide what you're going to do with your profits, because there is no automatic compounding. Everything is a manual process. And often people find this a little bit of strange when they start, but what it's enabled me to do personally, every week I can see what have I earned, and how am I doing on my goal? Whatever my goal was, I can align myself and see how I'm doing on that goal of mine on a weekly basis. Am I going to get to the financial goal that I've set for myself, or do I need to adjust? In other systems, you might get the results, but you actually haven't got the actual money. So if you needed to do something, it's not there. Remember this, what we call the weekly wealth audit, where you review what's your profits for the week, you withdraw them, you then decide what you want to do, how you're going to spend it, or are you going to transfer it back and grow it even more? Every week, that's your decision. It's not just you, it's every single member in the NWP system. And this is what keeps the system extremely transparent. And you know, in this system, you never have to ask someone else, did they make a deposit? Or did they make a withdrawal? And how's it going? Because you yourself every week will know how it's going. And the money comes directly back to you in your personal wallet. It's not just in the back office. It actually comes physically to you in your wallet, and then you decide what you want to do with it on a weekly basis. Just to look at some actual earnings, when we talk percentages, it's not always easy to understand things. So what I've done here is taken those earnings for the week and last week and just show you what it actually looks like. So on the withdrawal, there's a 5% fee. So I've included that in this example here. And this is not a fictitious example. This is a real result from last week. So if you had $1,000 in the foundation portfolio, for instance, you would have earned 1.37%. That means you've earned $13.70 for the week. Your withdrawal fee is 69 cents on that. Therefore, in your crypto wallet on Saturday last week, you would have received $13.02. And then you can see the other examples of the growth there, and then also the elite. So if you had $50,000 in there, you would have earned 2.66%. That means you would have earned $1,330. 5% of 1,330 is $66.50. Therefore, in your crypto wallet, you would receive $1,263.50. I hope that helps just to clarify, the way percentages works, because it's not always easy to see the percent or see what the actual thing is. So I've done that just to help you there. So your capital, as I've said, it's always in your control. You make the decision what's going to happen with your capital. Now, you might have looked at that last example and said, oh, well, yes, it would be very nice if I had 50,000, or if I had 10,000, or maybe even if I had $1,000. That would be very nice, but I don't have that. And that means that I won't get anywhere, or what's going to happen to me, and how am I ever going to achieve my goal? Well, I have good news for you, because by saving a little, you gain a lot. And this example I've done at virtually the lowest level. Could have gone $2 less, but I've used $12 just as a interest sake here, because you can do any amount in the system. And what I'm suggesting here, it's not something the system does, it's a decision you make for yourself. So if you miss one of these months, it doesn't matter. It means that you've gone 1 month longer on your goal. That's all. Doesn't matter. No one's going to punish you for that. So it's your decision what you want to do with this. But let me give you the example. So it's $12 that you put away each month for 5 years. That's 60 months. In total, the money out of your pocket would have been $720. Now remember, as I said, every single week you're going to get the profit. Now what happens is, when you get this profit, you then decide whether you want to put it back or not. So what I've done in this example is assume that you want to put it back and you want to get maximum growth on the money that you earn and the money you put in. So by putting in your $12 plus the profits you get every single month for 5 years, what will your result be? And this is what we're looking at. As I mentioned, 720 is what you would have put in from your own pocket. At the end of 5 years, you will have more than $5,000 in your portfolio. So you see, you can actually gain a lot by saving a little every month. Just that consistent putting your money away, and you can decide what you want to put in. You can use any amount, and you can work this out for yourself. But it just gives you an example. Now, I mentioned 10,000 as one of the examples. Now, how do you get to 10,000? You just keep on doing that same $12 per month for another 14 months. So that's 6 years and 2 months, and you would have reached 10,000. So that's how you can do it if you don't have a lot to start with. There's always ways. When it comes to you and your money, there's always a strategy for you to be able to grow your money and achieve success. So how do you get started in the NWP system? Well, it's simple. You register. When you register, that's completely free. Then you'll need to deposit some crypto. Remember, $10 is the minimum deposit that you can make, or it's not the minimum deposit you can make, but it's the minimum portfolio that you can open. Once you open that portfolio, you will receive your profits every single Saturday, as long as you leave the portfolio there. Now, to help people, we've put together this link tree that's got videos, a very similar presentation to what I'm showing you here tonight. It tells you how to get started, and there's a guide to crypto, and then there's also a weekly calculator on there. So that example that I gave with $12 over 60 months, you can do exactly that in the calculator. Put your own amount in there, whatever you want. You can decide on the calculator whether you want to add weekly or add monthly. You can play with the calculator and see the sort of projected result that you might get. I'm not giving you pie in the sky. This is everything that I've told you here this evening is actual results over the last 74 weeks. And we base the calculators on the historical results. Obviously, that's not a guarantee, but it has been the consistency that we've experienced. When you're starting, there's different cryptocurrencies that you can use. It's USDT, BNB, or USDC, and that's on the Ethereum network, the Binance Smart Chain, or the Polygon network. Any money that you've put in by Monday midnight will still get profits for you that Saturday. So if you put your money in on this Monday, you getting your profits on Saturday. The withdrawal fees, I showed you the example there. Your minimum withdrawal is $10, and the fee that you would pay on that is 5%. Then withdrawing your capital. Capital withdrawals can be done on a Saturday and Sunday. The first time you take out your capital, that's no charge on that. The second time, once you've taken your first capital and you want to take capital again, that will then be subject to a 2% fee. And it's that simple. Those are the only fees charged by the NWP system. There's no subscription fees, there's no joining fees, annual fees, trading fees, nothing like that. It's only the withdrawal fees that are ever charged to you in the NWP system. Just to remind you that there is no automatic compounding in your back office. You would have to withdraw those profits that show in your back office. You have to withdraw it to your physical crypto wallet. Once you've withdrawn it to your physical crypto wallet, that then goes and you decide what you want to do with that money. If you want to put it back into a portfolio, you need to manually do that. There's no button in the back office that will simply show you, oh, you want to reinvest. No, you have to take out the money. You have to feel it for yourself. And you see, this gives you the reassurance and the trust in the system, because it's not just money rotating, it's real money that they pay out to you. And then you decide whether you want to spend it or if you want to put it back into the system. NWP has got WhatsApp chat support. Those girls are available in Canada. They are very helpful and efficient. You can also contact them via support via email, but that's a little bit slower. The website is nwprofits.com. NW stands for Network Profits. And then the offices of NWP and the registration of the company is based in Turkey, and the offices are in the Trump Towers in Istanbul. Just to go over this weekly cycle, because everything works on a weekly cycle in NWP. So you would start, that means you put your money in, you deposited your money, you open yourself a portfolio, and then trading will take place through the professional traders from a Monday to Friday. They do that trading for you. The profits are then sent to a payment gateway. That's a third-party payment gateway. And that profit, regardless of how much it is, will wait at that third-party payment gateway until such time as you've got $10 or more, and you'll be able to withdraw those profits. When you withdraw those profits, suggest that you use a private crypto wallet. Private crypto wallet means a trust wallet, a SafePal, MetaMask, Exodus, one of those. Don't use an exchange, because if you make a mistake and withdraw the wrong type of coin, and by the wrong type of coin, we mean something that your exchange might not accept, because exchanges have different rules. When it's your private crypto wallet, that's those wallets that I've mentioned, they're all multi-currency wallets. Therefore, if you've sent the wrong thing to your wallet, you can simply find it by adding the token into your wallet. Whereas when you send it to an exchange, they basically say, we don't accept that. Sorry, you've lost your money. So don't do that. Use a private crypto wallet and have control over your money, just like you have a control over your decision whether you want to keep it in the system or take it out on a weekly basis. This is only profit from trading. The company only grows because of the profits made from trading. It doesn't grow because new people join. So in other words, any bonuses that are paid to people are paid on a weekly basis. They're never paid out of someone else's money. And that's a big thing. It's not like that anywhere else in the industry. Often it happens that you are getting paid out of someone else's money. That's unfortunately not a sustainable thing. NWP is all about long-term and sustainability. What I've shown you here this evening is what we call the Partners with Portfolios. If you want to find out about the partner program, this is where you can earn a little bit by introducing your friends and family, build a network for yourself. We do those presentations Thursday night. So we will do the Partners with Portfolio presentation on a Tuesday, and on a Thursday night we will do the partner program. And that is my presentation for this evening. Thank you for your time. I'm here to help you take the first step. What would you like to know? Please ask your questions.
I just want to ask a very simple question.
Yes.
Say, for instance, something happens and you can't withdraw your money during the weekend. What happens?
Okay, your profits are always available. So if your profits, it's only your capital that you can withdraw on the weekend, but your profits you can withdraw any single day of the week. There's no limit on when you can take your profits out.
Oh, so for instance, let's say if we talk about the $10 or the $12, that $10 stays there, but you can actually take your profits, or do you need to reinvest that as well?
If you, yeah, so what happens in the system is you put in your money, and they call that opening a portfolio. So those portfolios will stay there as long as you want them to stay there, and that portfolio will be traded by the traders every single week. Every week on a Friday night, those profits are then sent to the payment gateway, and you can then decide whether you want to withdraw them or not. But they will stay there until such time as you withdraw them. And you can withdraw those at any time, okay? If you want your $10 back, for instance, and it's not in a booster, because the boosters are separate, if you want them back, then you do that on a Saturday or Sunday. And that's a button that says withdraw principal amount.
Yes. So your investment itself will stay there, and the profit you can actually reinvest if you want to.
Yes, but you will need to take it out physically. And then once you've got $10 or more, you can redeposit and then open another portfolio for yourself. Because every time you open, or every time you do a deposit and you've got $10 or more, it opens a new portfolio. You can then decide to, if you see that you've got a lot of portfolios and you don't know what your total of all your portfolios together is, there's a merge function in your back office where you can join all your portfolios together. So it quickly shows you how much you've got in your portfolios.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. It's a pleasure. I'm going to bid you all a farewell and a good night. Have a good evening and look forward to Saturday when you get your profits.